Well, managing the last minute, last mile, just in time to right now deliveries, quick commerce is all about right now delivery. For those who don't know, quick commerce definition is a type of e-commerce where emphasis is on quick deliveries, typically in less than an hour and sometimes in a couple of minutes. Now, Q-commerce has made an impact all across the world. And just consider this, for a focal area for us for this evening, if the annual growth rate for deliveries in India will be around 45%, so they grow by 45% over the next 4 years, how are logistics companies going to manage that last minute, last mile? How are they going to redefine that just-in-time, right-now delivery, quick commerce paradigm that is definitely coming? Well, I'm Jonathan Kempe. You might usually see me on Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia Pac, but it's my privilege to be a guest host on FarEye Special Delivery today. For those who don't know, Special Delivery gives an informative take on what's happening across the industry. And FarEye is a provider of innovative visibility and shipment tracking services with a focus on the final mile. In just a moment, we'll meet my special guest, Sanjeev Suri. And Sanjeev is the Senior Vice President, Global Omnichannel Logistics and Customer Service from Amway in India. Amazing title and also an amazing degree of skill. I'm really looking forward to talking to Sanjeev. And I want to learn from him what his perspective is for Amway and how quick commerce is integrated into what Amway does. Across the episode, we'll ponder questions such as how do we manage, or how do you manage, in this case for Amway, their home deliveries to accommodate dynamic, fluctuating demand by the minute. Think of that paradigm shift to the minute. How do you use visibility to make sure deliveries are on track and on time? And how do you ensure the delivery experience is superior every time? We're going to cover off those questions, and we're going to explore related trends in supply chain and quick commerce across the length of this episode. So strap in for this episode of Special Delivery by FarEye. First, we're going to deliver some headlines. We've got 2 headlines here from India Times that show us a few different things about the market and how it's evolving. The first headline shows us, and let me just share my screen to make this a little bit more visual. The first headline describes to us a series of different things that are happening across e-commerce in particular. Now, e-commerce as an exploding market segment has a lot of different parts to it, and all of those different parts have been interesting for lots of different players across logistics, supply chain, and for retailers and manufacturers. And what it will describe is the explosive growth of e-commerce, in particular retail, by up to $2 trillion by 2032. So think of that for now at $844 billion across 2022. That will almost double in size to $2 trillion in 2032. What a phenomenal growth story. You can think of all the different things that relate to that and how it will have an impact on a massive amount of things for many, many years to come, as across those 10 years, those sorts of statistics come to bear. If you think about it in regards to just raw retail, it's about a 10% annual growth. And to get to that $2 trillion, think of all the different parts that make up that $2 trillion figure, all of the different moving parts, in particular the delivery parts, and you'll start to realize that there's going to be a huge amount of stress and pressure on lots of different parts of supply chain logistics and for the retailers who have to supply to it. So if you think about that and you think of what the impact will be on just the region and those suppliers inside the region, you'll start to realize that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. In fact, across here, you'll see in this article that investments are needed for infrastructure in particular in India in order for them to reach that $2 trillion figure. In order for that $2 trillion figure to be sustainable, they're going to add in new technologies like 5G, and they want to try and do things like streamline the process for retailers as they work inside the industry. So that's our first headline. The second one tells us about how consumer brands are driving differentiation in this age of ultra-fast delivery. Just think about this. If the speed of delivery increases dramatically, and I'm talking not just in terms of days or months, but in terms of hours and minutes, everything has to speed up accordingly. This panel that was held had some really interesting insights. You'll see one that was shared here about quick commerce. The game is all about being available when the consumer is ready to order. So just think about that. The consumer needs to order something, they want it right now. You need to be ready to supply it as they place that order. And that can be 24/7. I just saw an article just today about how an Indian furniture company was moving to 24/7 operations to improve their delivery windows and to improve customer service. This second view, I think, is really quite amazing by Pepper Fry. It said that omnichannel is coming into the big picture as consumer buying has shifted back from online to offline and to be available on both for better visibility. So omnichannel is definitely a thing. And when we think about all the different variables for omnichannel, we need to be ready for that revolution that's happening. And talking about omnichannel, who do I have on the line here with me? No other than Sanjeev Suri from Amway, who is an expert in that field. Amway is a fascinating organization, and I'll get Sanjeev to introduce himself in just a moment, but just a little background on Amway. It's a privately held US company. It's got affiliates in more than 100 countries, including India. They sell health, beauty, and home care products. They reported sales of $8.4 billion and employ about 17,000 people across those 100 countries. And they have an issue, or they had an issue with visibility for customer distribution. They had to work out how to manage orders, to predict accurate ETAs, to track deliveries, and to improve visibility. So I want to hear from Sanjeev, firstly, about who he is and what he does on a day-to-day basis, and then we'll explore what those headlines might mean for us in terms of quick commerce and what quick commerce means for Amway. So Sanjeev, welcome to Special Delivery. Do you want to just spend a moment or two and just introduce yourself and what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Thank you, Jonathan, and very happy to talk to you. I am basically having a background of sales, and then I've moved over to supply chain, and I have worked in different verticals, different companies across India. I have been into the tech field like Samsung Electronics, then I moved over to Flipkart, which is now a Walmart company in India, and now I'm working in Amway. So in Amway, basically, I'm taking care of the last mile delivery experience as well as the customer services. So what we do is this both verticals are one where we talk about a last mile experience, that how the customer when he's ordering it and how the experience there of ordering and how we are able to execute the order and deliver to him. So that is what I handle in Amway. Just to add, Amway in India is there for now last more than 25 years, and it is into direct selling in India. It is a global company, but India presence is also very strong, and we deliver to the different. We have the distributors to whom we sell. Plus, there are also customers, preferred customers through whom we are able to sell further. This is a basic brief about myself.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And just a general question to start. When you hear the term quick commerce, how do you think it applies to Amway?
I think I will define in a slightly different way. Quick commerce, when we talk about, but you're talking about ultra quick commerce, is something which the customer today for last few years in India has started expecting. I'll talk more about India because that's what we are focusing on. There were times when people used to wait and they used to go to the shops and they used to buy. But today, in the night, if a kid wants to buy a packet of wafers, so he just goes online, he orders, and he's getting in 10 minutes. So that is what we are talking about, ultra quick commerce. But from the delivery point of view, there's also a cost which is associated with it. So when we look at it, if you are delivering a packet which is costing $50 within 10 minutes, and there's a lot of technology, a lot of efforts at the back end, which is there. There's the hubs which are there, the biker who's taking it and delivering it. So the cost to it is high. So the companies are looking at it, how there is a segment in groceries where we can deliver very fast, but there are segments like our company where we say that you order it and we will try to deliver in 1 or 2 days. So that's what we are talking about it. At one time in Amway, we were talking about 3 to 4 days of delivery, but we understood that customers today are comparing us when they're ordering online to Amazon and Flipkart in India. So for this, what we did, we said, okay, let us now focus on how do we improve the speed and how do we improve the experience of ordering. So these are two areas where as a company we have been working on. So we have made it our website quite informative, quite streamlined. There have been different ideas, innovations which have been going on to ensure that the ordering experience is good. But after ordering experience, the role which I play is to ensure that the order is picked, packed, and shipped out the same day, and we are able to deliver next day. So that's one target which we have. And across India, across pin codes, we are talking about 80%, 90% coverage in India, which we do. and we are able to deliver more than 50% next day. And in the smaller areas, tier 3, tier 4 towns also, we are able to deliver in 3 days. So that's the direction which we are going. So that's what we mean by quick commerce for Amway.
Excellent. And in terms of the deliveries that you handle, you've got an average delivery time that you've shared there. Do you have an intention to speed that up any further to match that consumer demand that you talked about? Or do you eventually get to a point where it's actually unfeasible, it's not actually possible to do that, and consumer demand for it starts to drop off?
No, definitely. I think there is always scope to improve, and we have reached. But we are one thing that we are doing is we are measuring order to deliver. So because for a customer, he does not need to know when the ship out happened and when it has reached a hub, when he's ordering and when he's delivering. So order to deliver time is what we are capturing. So which was 3 days at one time average all over India. Now it has come to 1.6 days. So that is the stage where we are in. We want to reduce it further, and we want to focus on two things: one, the metro cities and tier 1, tier 2 cities, where we want to make it very fast. Plus we also want to focus on the on the upcountry areas, the tier 3 and tier 4 towns, where the future demand is going to come. When you're talking about the $3 trillion retail business, it is not only going to come from big cities, but it's also going to come and from the smaller towns, and that is what we are seeing it. So we are increasing the reach, which used to be less. So now a lot of zip codes we have added for our reach. And second is we are focusing on improving the speed for those areas also, where the volume will be less, but customers are looking for a very fast delivery. So we are focusing on increasing the speed further. So we're not going to stay where we are at.
Right. And in terms of like a ranked requirement from your consumers, is speed quite high? Like, do they constantly give you feedback saying we actually want it quicker than what you currently deliver it?
Yeah, I think our customers, because when they order, they are ordering something which is like Neutralite they're ordering, or toothpaste they're ordering. So they are more or less comfortable because we are ordering a lot of the orders come from distributors also, and they also are stocking it, and sometimes they're giving to their customers. So one day is something which they feel more or less is fine, but the moment it goes more than that, more than 1 day or 2 or 3 days, so then they are not happy. So that's one thing which we get a feedback. Some customers do say that why don't you do something like other hyper local companies are doing it, where you can deliver in 10 minutes. This is the demand comes. But I tell them that those companies are into a different business. So one, they are into groceries. They are working on a different model. Third, they are burning a lot of money. Okay, so they can afford to burn money, but our company is there for the long term, and we want to deliver, but not at the cost of burning and then finding that yes, something is collapsing. So when we are for long term, we'll do it gradually, but we'll look at the need and then do it. So we are not targeting the 10 minutes or 30 minutes delivery, which different models we are looking, which we can do through distributors, but not now, not our own network. But one day, delivery is definitely a target where we want to see that all today, if it is 50%, so 90% all over India, all my orders online, I should be able to deliver in 1 day. So that's the vision we have. How fast we'll reach is something which we have to look at a lot of factors.
What I love about what you just said there is that you need it to be sustainable. It needs to be commercially sustainable. I mean, there's obviously an environmental sustainability angle there, but it needs to be commercially sustainable. I love it how Amway has decided to invest back into local economies and to actually be there longer term. And I'm sure many people would point out that there's certain companies that come along, they do things explosively for a short period of time, and then in a year or two's time, they run out of steam and generally run out of money, and they can't offer that same type of delivery window.
Yeah, Jonathan, I basically, because I was earlier before this, I was at Flipkart, and I have a lot of my colleagues and friends who are part of a lot of startups and who have their own startups also. And I have seen that sometimes in the rush to gain a market share and rush to gain volume, they sometimes are not able to focus on the COI. So what they are getting back in return. So if you're spending $2 to deliver for a product which the customer is going to pay less than $1, so it doesn't make sense. So that can be a short-term strategy, but not long-term. And we are into a business for long-term. So definitely we will focus on speed. If there are sometimes some distributors, they say, why can't you deliver in 10 minutes? I said, we'll do it. Are you ready to pay for that? So in India,
That's right.
the customer is very cost conscious. So he will want everything, but the moment we say, are you ready to pay? So they don't want to pay for delivery. So
Yeah.
then we will go as per what we can do sustainably and in the right commercial sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And in terms of the blend of both transportation carriers and vendors that you use for deliveries, has that changed over the years? Have you moved towards, as you've had to speed up and improve those delivery times, what sort of blend do you use, postal, courier, express, and so on?
Yeah, I think you have asked very really good question because whenever I go to a different discussion, so I always talk about before COVID and after COVID, like BC, AC, AD. So I talk about before COVID. So
Yeah,
I think I've seen the distribution market, the deliveries market have changed a lot due to COVID. Okay, I when I talk especially about like Amway, we have shops also where our distributors can go and they can buy. So before COVID, before March 2020, when we had the lockdown, 70% volume was coming from the shops and 30% used to come from the home deliveries, and we were doing around that time around 90,000 orders per month. Due to COVID, everything stopped. All the shops stopped or delivery stopped. And then gradually for over 1 or 2 months, it started opening. And we found that because people could not travel, they could not go out to any shops. So all the volume came to the home delivery. So and the other companies, even whether grocery companies like in India, Big Basket, Amazon, Flipkart, so all saw a big jump in their volumes. So that is the direction which we reached. So we were able to reach 100% for home deliveries, and now the customer is very more than happy to order online. So today, 70% of my volume has stabilized on the home deliveries, and 30% is on the offline shops. Okay,
Wow.
and
Wow.
that is something you see which is going to continue. So omni-channel is there, but the delivery experience, because it's improving, because reach is improving, speed is improving. So customers are happy to order online and go to shop for training and to get knowledge or wherever which is nearby. But otherwise, they are quite happy to order online. So because of this change, which is happening in terms of my channel shift, there was a very big need for me to change go for a different type of vendors also. So earlier we had a lot of small vendors, but because the volumes were low, so from 90,000 the volume went to 4 lakh orders per month, which has slightly stabilized to around 2 to 3 lakhs now. So the volume had increased, the reach was needed, and speed was needed. So what we did had the small niche players, but we have gone for the big players also. So there are big
Right.
courier and parcel company in India, which are reputed and which are doing very huge volume. So we have gone for them because they give us a lot of volume. So where I want to have a increase in the month and low or a peak, so that is able to do. Plus they are able to give me reach, and I have 2 3 big players. Plus, I have a small players because in small segments, maybe in the hill areas, mountains, every player cannot do. So those who are expert in that area will go for that. So that type of mix is what we are now having. So we have big players, plus we have small players. So big volume done with the big players, but small players doing the niche segments and areas where it's not easy to reach, and they have capability.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for that comprehensive discussion point. It's really great to hear that degree of detail from somebody who's been right in the trenches and had to work their way through all the variables of that. I'm sure you describe it quite easily, but I'm sure it came with a whole bunch of planning and angst and trial and error and all those sorts of things along the way. When you think of delivery, obviously a lot of technology that touts visibility as one of its sort of primary tenets. How important is visibility during ordering and delivery?
I think this is a big piece of overall experience. So when we talk about the delivery and ordering experience, so it is very big piece. There were time when the people used to place order, so they were not knowing what is the stage where the order is the order reached, is it packed, is it shipped out. So they used to call the call center. So I have a call center, and they used to call, what happened to my order, when it's delivering. So there was a so they were anxious about the order because they want it fast and they were not clear when it's coming. So we felt the need, and when we look at in this segment online, we are competing with Amazon and Flipkart. So there they already are giving the visibility. So when you order, you get each stage where it is. So we tied up with Farai, and we were able to through this and we integrated our systems and our vendors with the platform. So what happened that each stage when the order is received, the message is triggered. When the order is picked up, it's shipped out. It is handed over. It is out for delivery. It is delivered. So all the segments is tracked, and that information is visible in our website as well as through email and website. We are able to inform. So the customer is knowing what's happening. Plus, we have also added in terms of return. So sometimes the delivery is not able to possible, or the customer wants to return it. So he gets a message. It is returned back. It is received back. Is he getting a return when he's getting the money? So he knows what's happening, and I think that has reduced a lot of calls which were coming to the call center, and that makes for a good experience for our customer. So definitely, visibility is making a lot of sense, and our experience is good on that side.
Yeah, and I think the feedback you must have got from your customers and also the other supply chain participants who've got to work alongside you and manage all those processes in between, they're asking for visibility and you're giving it, which I think is great. It shows a real proactive stance for you to adopt new technologies and integrate them into your processes. But technology itself can't just stand in isolation. It needs to be married to good processes. Can you talk about how Amway has approached that in terms of technology plus processes plus people?
Yep. I think because technology is one leg of the total piece. So what I joined around 5 to 6 years back in Amway, and we identified few areas we wanted to focus on. So first we said, okay, we will have the right infra in the warehouses. So we wanted to make the flagship warehouses where what all state of art, all the material handling equipments, order pickers, racks, state of art cool rooms. So that is all what we went for, the bigger warehouses where we wanted them to handle the higher loads. Plus we went for technology where we went for a pick to light systems, which improve the speed of the picking, plus also the accuracy of picking. So that's what we did for the 2-3 bigger warehouses where we invested into that, and we had a with the pick to light. I could do double and triple of the volumes with the same team. Plus, I could do very accurate, and I could capture this is the photograph and this is the way picking has happened. So the customers are clear, yes, it's going fine. So that is one thing we did. Second, we made all our warehouses Wi-Fi enabled, and in the warehouses we also went for the handheld sets of based operations. So at the picker packers, so earlier they were not clear where to pick and what to pick, and with the WMS which we had, and with the Wi-Fi enabled operations, so it became a very smooth integrated process. There will be some areas where the things will not, some errors will happen, but because we have the right team on the ground, and we have and in the head office with me, so what we do, we are more able to monitor the processes. We are working to simplify with the use of Hybris and the Red Berry and the Blue Yonder technologies. So it is integrated, it is smooth, and the overall experience is taken care. The last thing which we are doing at our end is, which I'm really my team supports me, is in supply chain we monitor what's happening, and we monitor on a daily basis, because we don't monitor on a monthly basis or weekly basis, because if somewhere we know that in this warehouse this leg, this pin code, something is breaking, so today we are able to take action that yesterday this orders could not be moved out. We take action and we smooth it out, and the things are on track. So with this, we are able to overall integrate the experience and give a good experience to our customers.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much again. I love the fact that you work through that in such a logical, systematic way to explain exactly how it is that you deliver on the things that you promise, using that combination of processes and your people married to amazing technology. I've got 2 final questions. Firstly, what excites you about the future of supply chains or quick commerce? You can choose either or. Is there any new technologies or anything transformative that you see that's in the pipeline?
I think one thing which you're talking about, I can see, especially related to India, when we read the newspapers and we see the TV, and that there's a lot of India is a growth story, and that is something which I can see on the ground. So in last 5 years and 10 years, the way the things have changed, and the way the people are very positive, and people are motivated. That yes, things are changing, and the volumes are increasing. So that is one thing which really excites me. Second thing which is really exciting is the lot of new youngsters who are coming out of premium colleges. So they were earlier looking for a job based in US or some bank. Today, when they are coming out, the lot of them are in the college itself. They are looking for starting their startup, and they are the ones who are creating the big unicorns in India. So they're the ones who say, why should I go and work for a big company? Why can't I make my own big company? This change, when I was youngster, I did not had. I had only one vision that I will I'll go for a good job. But today I can see that a lot of youngsters coming out from premium colleges, so they are thinking and they are doing it. So that is something which really excites me. That yes, this is happening in a lot of fields, but all the companies have understood that supply chain is a backbone. So there were a time when supply chain used to be one of the pillars of the company, but maybe not be so important pillar. But after COVID, I think all the companies understood that it is a business critical function. So I think that is really excites that yes, we are in good space. That technology is something, the future is good. We will have automation, we'll have all the things, but on the ground, I feel the person who's delivering it and the person who's picking it. So we are enabling him with a lot of inputs, training, and technology, and that is, I think, the future for us.
Yeah, absolutely right on the money there with growth story. I mean, the headline I briefly looked at before, it's undeniable to see that trajectory. Over a 10-year period, you've got this growth to $2 trillion. And you think of the sympathetic growth that has to happen, all the interconnected things that have to grow along with that retail spending growth figure. It's just amazing. And I think, hold on to your hats, folks, when it comes to India. I think there is going to be just an explosive decade ahead of us. In particular, as you described them, that younger generation of folk that come through, technology enabled with great networks, great established skills, who can go out and start these enterprises, which I think are going to be really game changing. So well done on that. My final question to you is about Amway specifically and your primary focus over the next 12 months. Is there anything that relates to supply chain, delivery, visibility, or reliability that's going to be a primary focus for you over the next 12 months?
Yeah, definitely. Amway is a good space. So we are looking at how do we improve the overall experience of the customer when he's at the all legs of the ordering to deliver, starting from website to the products. We are also we have a great team who's working in terms of the marketing, in terms of the new product launches. There are different areas where the company is focusing on. We are also looking at how do we enable and how do we support our distributors as well as the preferred customers. So that is what we have different projects and different ideas where we are working on. Plus, we want to make it a very, very stable experience. So that is what we are focusing. That yes, that is what we should be able to deliver to them.
Excellent. Well, I mean, you dovetail neatly into some of the statistics that FARI have made available through their research arm. For instance, 44% of most of the deliveries, people want them to be same day or next day, with an average of 74% of people trending towards that in the next 4 years. Amway's obviously leading the pack in that regard. And I just love what you said about sustainability. We want to do this and be here for the long haul. So you've understood and you've looked through all the different options that you've got across a multi-vendor environment, and you've chosen that blend which meets customer demand without overlooking certain things that customers are really looking for, but does that in a sustainable fashion. Absolutely love that. One of the other stats that FARI have put forward is that 93% of people need to try and control their outsourced delivery networks. And when you think of the blend that Amway has in front of it, in particular across the next 12 months, that's going to be a primary factor. How do we make all of these downstream resources work to deliver our superior products? So thank you so much, Sanjeev, for being on the show today. I really appreciate meeting you. I love your insights. I can't wait to talk to you again, actually, and learn some more things about Amway and about what India is doing as pioneers in this space. So thanks for joining me on Special Delivery for FARI. My final comment about what we've just learned is when it comes to things like quick commerce, regardless of how you define it, you'll notice that the consumer experience is starting to really drive the experience of suppliers. So that consumer demand for things to be happening quicker than they ever have, that consumer desire to have things delivered, in some cases in minutes, and that consumer need for things like visibility and sustainability is really making a difference to how things operate at different levels above the consumer, from the actual person they're buying from from the delivery networks in between. So when you consider the sort of options that you have to you, if you're someone listening along who runs an enterprise or is involved in supply chain, you'll realize that the next decade ahead is going to be exciting. It's also going to have explosive growth. And so our question to you is, how are you managing that in a sustainable way? We've heard from Amway, they're doing an admirable job, but how are you doing that? What sort of technology are you adding to that blend? And perhaps even FarEye might be one of those technology options that you explore. So thanks for joining me, Jonathan Kempe, as the special guest host of Special Delivery this week. We hope that you join us next time for another episode of Special Delivery with FarEye.